welcome back to Cincinnati Issues. I'm Lincoln Ware, and my next guest, Doug Meisenheimer from the Community Action Agency, and we want to talk about the weatherization program that they've got going on now. And when you talk about that, when the weather's warm, you're saying, okay, we don't need that, but actually it'll help you during the summertime and the winter also. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
Now tell us a little bit about the program going on at the Community Action Agency.
Well, our weatherization program is a low-income program. It helps families reduce their energy consumption, allows them to put more dollars in their pocket so they have more disposable income, and it insulates the house, makes their house more warmer, more comfortable to live in.
Now what do? You do doors, windows, or what?
Well, our main function is insulation, insulating the walls and attic, crawl space if they have one. We also do a safety check of the furnace and water heater and the other combustion appliances within that home. We're looking for carbon monoxide to make sure that there's not a carbon monoxide problem within the home, and we'll address those issues if they arise. And we also do some air sealing around windows and doors, and typically making the heat and keeping the heat inside the home and keeping the cold air out. Okay.
Now, you say windows. I'm sure a lot of people have the old, especially the elderly. If they've stayed in their house a lot of years, they weren't able to buy new windows, and that's where a lot of the heat gets out through those windows and the cold air gets in. So you will weather strip those for them also?
Yeah, actually we do have some weather stripping that we can put around the windows. We don't do a lot of replacement windows. They are cost prohibitive, but we do, with the high density insulation that we put in the wall cavities, that tends to stop a lot of air movement that's coming in around the other windows. We will replace the glass if there's broken glass, and we have some plastic kits that we can put up to the windows to kind of keep the cold air out in those situations.
Now, what area do you cover? Just Hamilton County, or what?
Yes, we cover the entire county of Hamilton, which includes all the inner, outer suburbs of Cincinnati.
Now, what's the criteria? How do you become eligible for this?
The eligibility process is very simple. There's an application that people would fill out. They can either come into our offices and fill out an application. We can mail the application out to them. If they need some assistance with that, we can actually go to their home and help them with filling out the application. And we do have to have some income information that we have to qualify them for. We also ask that they have their current copy of their utility bill as well. And if they're a renter, we can actually do a rental unit as well. We just need some cooperation from the landlord and some information from them releasing us and giving us permission to work on the home.
Now, what are the income guidelines?
Well, right now, the Department of Energy has raised the income guidelines to 200% of poverty. What that means is that a family of 4 earning less than $44,100 on a calendar year can be eligible for our program.
What about one person?
I'd have to get those numbers.
Okay. Because you have a lot of, widows living alone, and they're in the house by themselves, and they can't fix anything, and they're freezing during the winter time, and I'm sure they could benefit from those services. Now all they have to do is call up, and do you send someone out to check their house out, or do you make sure they're eligible first? How does that work?
Yeah, once the application is received and we have all the information that we need, they are put on into a waiting list. Typically our waiting list right now is 3 to 6 months, so now is the time to get involved and get your application in so we can get to you before the winter sets in. We would send a professionally trained staff out, do the assessment. They would talk to the customer how they use the house. They'll sit down with them. We give them some light bulbs so that they can start saving right away. And then once the inspector does their consumer energy education with that customer, typically we'd send a contractor out behind to do the furnace and our water heating, cleaning tunes and different things like that. And then our crews, or in some cases a subcontractor, would come out and do the insulation work themselves. And then following that, there would be a final inspection if one can't be done while the crew is just there finishing up. So we try not to get into the home as less as possible, so not to be as an inconvenience to them, to make it a lot more easier to get them through the process.
Now they say water heaters really are the biggest energy consumption appliance you might have in your house. They said water heaters really burn up some energy.
Yeah, water heaters can use a lot of energy, especially if you have a larger family. There's a lot of hot water going on. There's some energy things that we can educate them on how they can reduce that consumption. There's some low flow shower heads and low flow aerators that can be installed. In some cases we'll install an insulation wrap to the water heater and the water lines to kind of reduce that standby loss. So yeah, the water heaters are a pretty high consumption in the house.
All right, we're going to take a quick break and then we'll come back with more from the Community Action Agency and how you can become eligible to take advantage of some of the services at the Community Action Agency. We'll take a quick break. We'll return to Cincinnati's issues right after these messages. Back in a moment. We're back. Cincinnati Issues is the program. We've got Doug Meisenheimer from the Community Action Agency with us. And you guys received, what, about $11 million or more in stimulus money? So that's going to help you be able to do more houses and help people out a lot more. Oh,
absolutely. We are really excited. The federal government has made a commitment to reducing the energy consumption throughout this country. Ohio stands to get a good portion of that. Of $266 million is what has been allocated to the state of Ohio. Locally, that amounts to $11.1 million. So not only is that going to allow us to help a lot more people at the higher income levels, it also has allowed us to hire additional staff in, which helps the economy by putting a tax base in there. It also is going to allow us to hire some contractors to help us out in getting those numbers and reducing the energy consumption for those customers. And so it just gives us an opportunity to do a lot more of the great work that we're already doing in the community now.
Now, I guess since you have more money, will you be able to help more people out with their gas and electric bills, with the HEAP program? I know that program, people were calling you from everywhere trying to get in on that program. So how does that work, the HEAP program?
Now, the HEAP program is somewhat of a sister program to us. It's funded through the same office through the state. But what that does is that's an annual benefit that eligible participants can receive. Now, their eligibility only goes up to 175% of poverty currently. But what it does help people that have a disconnect notice. They can come in and receive e-HEAP so they can get their keep their gas and electric on during the winter months. In the summertime, it also allows them to sign up on PIP, which is a percentage of income payment plan. So if they're getting behind on their bills, they can get kind of almost like a level billing to where they pay a percentage of their income towards their utility cost. And they stand to get some additional dollars as well. So they can also help more people out. And
I have to remind people that's a long list of people, so you need to call that as soon as you can.
Yeah. The agency helps with that HEAP program up to $10,000. I mean, 10,000 individuals or households per year.
Okay.
Yeah. So they help a lot more people through that process through the HEAP.
Okay, all right, that's a great program. And there's a lot of programs going on with the Community Action Agency that a lot of people probably just don't know about. I mean, you got this big new building over there, and I'm sure there's a lot of programs people just don't know about.
Yeah, we have a beautiful facility. It's really refreshing to walk in and to a clean building and have people that come in that need services and have a clean environment to come to and a friendly environment to come to. And we have the Head Start program, which helps with a real focus on early childhood.
Yes.
And then also the kids from age 3 to 4 and up to age 5 before they enter kindergarten, gives them a jump start on life, gives them their ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, and kind of helps them to work with other children and be around other children that they wouldn't normally be around, perhaps in some situations. We also have a fatherhood program that helps single fathers interact with their child and how to be a better father. There's other programs as well in community services, help with their rent. They can get help with some other projects as far as fixing up some things around the house in some cases. And we also, there's some other services that we also provide there at the agency that.
It just continues on, and that Head Start program. I just hear rave reviews about the Head Start program with the Community Action Agency. That's a great thing they're doing.
Yeah, the Head Start program really gives children a head start. It gets them used to going to school. You gets them used to being around other kids. Teaches them, how to be playful and not be roughhousing other children. It just gives them a boost. And it helps them throughout their career and on into,
And at least
later.
When they start kindergarten, they'll at least have an idea of what the colors are and some numbers and things like that. They won't start at kindergarten kindergarten not knowing anything, and that's been a big problem also.
Certainly, and it also helps parents who are trying to work who couldn't normally afford babysitting services too. You know, they have a safe environment to come to. They can entrust us with their children to be safe, and that they're learning in a learning environment. And you know, we have great facilities and great opportunities for the kids on different trips and field trips, and even there's a library in our facility where they can go into the public library and take out books and do different things like that.
Well, tell Gwen Robinson I said hello, and thank you for joining me this morning.
Not a problem. Certainly, I greatly appreciate your time.
We'll see you next week, and don't forget, check me out on 1230 The Buzz, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 2, 1230 WDBZ. We'll see you next week right here.